From Cornwall to Birmingham and Johnston and Bexhill, here's Ruben Spire on the radio.
Hello to Clayton Phoenix Smith. How are you today?
Good, I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Thank you. Let me chat to you today. So, can you tell me how long have you been a singer-songwriter for?
Oh, it's got to be more than 30 years. I mean, I've always dabbled in it. Poetry, uh, life stories. I would write things in my journal, convert them over to songs, life experiences. So over 30 something years.
So, can you tell me more about your studio that you got behind you there?
So basically, I always wanted my own setup so I could create on my end of it. Like I was telling you before we had this interview, like I'm not really I am a musician, but I don't play any instruments. But I tell people, I say my voice is my instrument. And but basically what I do is if I come up with ideas, or I have guitar players come over, keyboard player, piano, they play me parts, and then I figure out melodies, and then I write the lyrics down. And then what we do is we take those samples or those stems, and then what we do is we, we build the song around the ideas and the stems that I give them. And then that's when the song gets produced and then released. So basically, I just needed about my equipment. I just needed my own equipment to work those things out to get to the next level. You know what I mean? So
How roughly does it take you to record?
okay, so it's interesting that you say this, because before in the past, when I've dealt with producers and all that, the turnaround time was either from a month, well, maybe a few weeks to a month, maybe 2 months for one song. And that was always the missing link for me. Then when I got together with Tez Super with ST Entertainment, the turnaround time is much faster. It's like clockwork. So in other words, like now we pump out songs 1 to 2 days, and they're pretty much mapped out, so we could probably get a song done in a week or less time, or less than that.
Well, it's quite a quick turnaround, I guess.
Well, it has to be, because what happens is now in the music industry, how I look at it as, when you got your music pages and all that, and you're trying to promote yourself as an independent artist, you have to have a quick turnaround time, because what happens is if you don't have nothing to post on your page, it becomes stagnant, and then you don't get no viewers. And that's another thing that I try to tell these independent artists. Like, just don't think that you're just going to put it on DistroKid or on Spotify or whatever, that's the end of the work, because it's not the end of the work. That's only part of the platform. You have to do the work in order to be successful. You know what I mean? So that's basically my my perspective on it, on when these artists say, well, how come, there's nobody really following me? It's because you didn't do the work. You got to do the work. You know what I mean? So that's where I try to tell people, like, whatever, like, for instance, you're interviewing me now. Now, after we get done this interview, and when it comes out, I take your interview and I post it everywhere I possibly can, because that helps me get more people to view what I'm putting out there. You know what I mean? So that's what I stress on other artists that are trying to make it. It's not going to fall in your lap. You have to do the work. That's it.
Can you tell me more about your debut single called Don't Say Goodbye?
This was a song, and this is the God's honest truth. This is a song that I wrote in my teenage years, and it was all about this beautiful redheaded girl that I met in a discotheque setting. And I used to love to go dancing, and me and my friends from South Philadelphia, we used to travel from Philadelphia back in the 90s, from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania to Media, Pennsylvania, where this Pulsations, it was called Pulsations, the nightclub. And it was a real neat place because it had a spaceship on a track and a robot, and the spaceship would just go across the whole ceiling of the nightclub, and then it would land on the dance floor, and a robot would come out and dance on the dance floor. It was a real cool place. But anyway, how Don't Say Goodbye came, there was this pretty redheaded girl that I seen like even weeks before I even met her. But what happened was the club let out late that night, and we went to like a kind of like diner kind of a place, and she happened to be there. It was kind of like a 7-Eleven or something, like where they sold hot dogs. 'Cause by the time you danced and all that, and you drank and all, you wanted to get something to eat. So I see this beautiful redheaded girl, smart as a whip too. But I made her laugh all night, and my friends, were exchanging numbers with other girls, and so we didn't really hook up right then and there. So 2 days later, my friend Anthony Miniacci calls me up and tells me, he says, that redhead that was talking to you the other night? She was asking about you and she wants to hook up with you, right? so so then I ended up hooking up with her, but at the time she was going to Chester University, and she was, in her college. This was her college years, and she was trying to get her career in nursing school. And so what happened was, you know, like she was going to school, and she was pursuing her, her dream, whatever she to be successful in life. So basically she loved that I was doing music. She admired it a lot. But she did set me straight. Said to me, she said, "Listen," she said, "it's all right for you to like music and pursue your dreams." But what she did tell me was, she said, "Listen, you have to have something to back that up, because in case that don't work out, because that's a needle in a haystack, you need something solid." So then, so anyway, she was a real positive influence on me, and I loved her for that. So she told me to enroll in the Community College of Philadelphia to try to, you know, get something to fall back on. But I didn't follow that path. I followed my heart because I really wanted to do music. So so then what happened was, so then she went off, to school. We kind of broke up. So that's where the song Don't Say Goodbye comes in at, why I wrote it, because she was such a positive influence on my life. And then later on, what happened with her was, it's a beautiful story because she became successful. She wasn't able to pay for college, so she took the ASVAB, which is a battery, a test for the military here in the States. And she ended up going in the Navy, and she went in as an officer because she scored really high, and they were able to pay for her to go to nursing school. And she did 20 years in the military. And and then, and of course she got married and all that. So we distanced ourselves apart from each other. But that's how the song Don't Say Goodbye came into play. You know what I mean? So that's the story behind all that.
So, are you working on any new music?
Yeah, all the time. All the time. I got Yes, No, Maybe coming out in April. And then I got another song called Fake It Till You Make It. Um and then I got another song called Photographs of an Ultrasound, which I kind of like that one a lot because that has a lot to do with my daughter being born, and seeing an infant through an ultrasound. And I think that'll be a cool national anthem for males bringing their new ones into the world. You know what I mean?
So I take it you're maybe doing an album? Are you
Yeah,
working on an album? Are you?
yeah, yeah. So yeah. So basically, we're gonna put out about 3 singles and then work on the album. And we already got the album's name picked out: Passport to South Philadelphia, or Passport to South Philly, because that's where I was born and raised. And the neat thing about where I was born and raised was, there was some famous personalities that really came out of Philadelphia. There was Bobby Rydell, Frankie Avalon. You know, they were all guys that were born around my neighborhood. Um, yeah, you had Sister Sledge, you had the OJs, you had Billy Paul, you had a lot of famous artists, and I was influenced by all that when I was a kid, you know.
So, can you tell me, what's it like being a signed artist with SD Entertainment?
Like I said, it was a missing link that I needed. I was being stagnant, you know, like just not getting anywhere, you know, and I have all this material that I have and these great ideas, but I needed them to be, you know, brought to life basically because people don't understand. Like you could be a great songwriter, you could be a great singer, but if you ain't a musician, then you're missing that. Then you need an engineer. That's a whole different art altogether. So you need all these elements to get you out there. So that to answer your question, that was the missing link. You know, I needed ST Entertainment. I really needed Tez to really get me to the next level and get me out there, you know.
So, you tell me that you're do a karaoke in America. So, any thoughts about coming to the UK or anywhere else?
Yes. So me and Tez were talking about it, and I'm gonna try. I mean, it's in the works, but they got an event going on in the UK on August 22nd in one of those pubs. I don't know the exact name of it, but they want me to come out there and do my set, and it should be a blast. I mean, I've been to Europe before. My mother was born in Italy, and my mother's in Italy right now, and and I think Europe is an awesome place. But I always wanted to go to the UK or Ireland just to see, you know, the different, you know, just to open up my mind even more because I love people. You know what I mean? So
So, finally, can you tell my listeners where can I find you on your social media?
I'm at Clayton Phoenix Smith on Facebook or Clayton Smith. You could go on there. And I advise people, you know, check me out. You know, everybody has different tastes, you know. But the thing that I'm trying to say is like, you know, if you could go on my page and hit my follow button or go on Spotify or iTunes or any of those platforms under Clayton Phoenix Smith, um, maybe listen to my music. Maybe you'll find another artist that you like. You know what I mean? So basically, yeah, that's where you would find me at.
Thank you for letting me chat to you today.
No problem. It was a pleasure.